I would say take advantage of whatever comes your way now, and emphasis on now, because the hesitation or the procrastination or whatever else have you might have you miss a opportunity, have the opportunity evolve and not be what it could have been if you had taken advantage of it when it first came.
Hey, everybody, welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany, and this is Unveiling Journeys. Man, I'm excited to have you here today. I have an amazing guest, but just real quick, let me tell you a quick second about me. I love people. I love meeting new people. I love hanging out with cool people. And what ends up happening is I get referred a lot of cool people because when I meet with them, I'm like, oh my gosh, please tell me about you. Do you want to come on my show? But also, who do you need to know? Let me figure it out. Maybe I already know them. Maybe I'll go find them for you. I don't know. And then also, by the way, if we have time, like, let me tell you a little bit about me. And then do you know anyone that I need to know that you know, right? And that's really just asking. And it kind of makes the ecosystem of being a referral partner or just a connector happen. It has introduced me to some of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, which is exactly how I met my guest today, by a phenomenal human being, Garrett Dunham. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce Darren. Darren, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I know this is like a long time in the making, but
Yeah.
it's going to be so good to tell your story today. So tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're up to right now.
Awesome. Well, Tiffany, thank you for having me. Yes, it definitely has been a long time in the coming, but we're excited to be here. So, my name is Darren Williams. I am currently the vice president of Fireball Extreme Challenge, and that has taken us to quite a few interesting places around the world and many more to come. So, we are fresh off of our 2025 World Cup, which was hosted in Lignano, Salvadoro, in Italy. And I got to captain Team USA for the fourth time, and I'm very excited to continue to do that and tell you a little bit more about that. But I'm dialing in today from Veracruz, Mexico, and we are approaching our April beach tournament here for primarily Mexican clubs, but we're excited about having some newcomers in that tournament as well. And given the beach situation, it'll be a little bit different than what our audience is used to seeing. So it should be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So, number one, I had to Google what Fireball Extreme Championship was. Tell everybody a smidge about that, that people are like, what? What is this? You told me it was a
Sure.
brand new league, but it is gaining traction like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Fireball Extreme Challenge is the first mandatory co-ed sport. It is a hybrid of a variety of different sports, so it's influenced by different techniques, different skill sets, etc. I would say that it is most similar to a, European handball mixed with basketball, a little bit of rugby, and some people say sexy hot potato. I don't particularly love that designation, but if you haven't seen it, that is kind of what it looks like. But it is very fast paced. You score by completing points. So if I throw you the ball, Tiffany, and you catch it, that's 1 point. But you can't stand still or walk while the ball's in play, and the ball must be passed every 2 seconds. So it moves extremely fast, and that's where both the fireball and the extreme challenge part come from. And the points get pretty high. Obviously, it racks up relatively quickly, but it is played in a similar to baseball fashion where there's no time. It's about possessions. So depending on what level you're playing at, whether you're at the amateur level, that's 12 on 12 on the roster, and each player serves one time straight through the roster, and then the other team does the same, and that is the conclusion of the game. So it'll be 24 total possessions. Now, when you get to the professional and the international competition, the game gets a little bit longer, it gets a little bit harder. That ends up going up to a 16-person roster. Everybody will go through serving at least twice in that each block, and then the roster will flip over again so that three additional captains will serve at the top of the order again. So once you get to that level, the game is pushing 3 hours, and it is quite the challenge. This is a non-contact sport. There is some incidental collisions and things of this nature just by the nature of the speed and things of that nature, but you're not able to leverage strength, height, or lack thereof, or make direct contact on purpose in order to get your teammates free. So this is a full on teamwork, communication, strategy sport. And so it was created in Italy. I had the blessing and the opportunity to be on the first team from the US to ever play. And that was in 2019. So I'm coming up on my seventh season playing, and this is going to be the best one yet. It has caught like wildfire, primarily in Latin America, Mexico being the leading country. They're also the uh, two-time reigning international champs, and so they are quite the juggernaut down here in Mexico. But other Latin American countries are hopping on board, and as well as Europe, obviously, as the home country. Italy, Spain was runner-up, and now our newest comer, India,
Yeah.
came in third, won bronze in the World Cup, and they are fiending for it. And so, just in India alone, we had about 90 million viewers across all of their games. Influencer tap in. One of our very, very, very kind sponsors ended up putting up jumbotron screens in a couple of the malls there in their local cities. And so it was an incredible display of support from the Indian community, their coaching staff, and obviously the athletes that competed. And so we are rapidly approaching a summer tournament in India this year, which we're going to look to leverage on creating a league in India and capitalizing on this momentum. So
Wow.
it is a worldwide feat right now, but with that latest excitement and engagement from India, that is going to be our target market for the, I'll say, immediate future.
This is fantastic. I love that so much had to go into inventing a new sport. That's incredible. You don't hear this at all a lot because you got to have the brains, the operation, the money to start all this and then get the momentum from everybody. So obviously it's like doing phenomenal, which so excited about. What
Yeah. Well, I'd love to
I
give a
bet you
lot
have
of
a
credit
million things.
to
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say all credit to the inception and the uh initial legwork for putting together the rule set and the testing and all of these things to founder Max Bartoli and his wife Fabiola. They are an incredible duo, and I'm honored to be able to call them not only friends but colleagues as well. And understanding the vision from the game, inspired by the dream team, basketball dream team, the Olympics with Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and that crew, for passing more than dribbling, right? And so it is definitely an inspiring story to be able to take the best parts of a lot of different sports and put it all into one, because that allows for a lot of different athletes to be able to be successful in this game, but it also allows for unique play styles to contribute, because I can't say I've seen any team play the same. Now, you can take bits and pieces from what's working, but everybody's play style is different. That allows for a lot of different success. But definitely thank them and their vision for that. But then also all the work that we've done since I got to become a part of it in 2019. So very excited about what the future holds for us.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I wanted to go to was like your role as VP of all of this league. What does that mean that you're working on right now? Like, what are some things that we can hear about that we need to know about from you?
Sure. Well, the unique thing about this and setting it up how we have is this isn't just a league, this is an entire federation, similar to the closest thing that I can relate this to is like FIFA. Now, it's not a direct correlation. There's a lot of differentiators in that. And that could take a whole other segment, but similar to FIFA, oversight over various different leagues. So, uh, we are full owners of the IP of Fireball. So any usage of the branding, whether that's on apparel, whether that's media rights, whether that's youth leagues, and then tournaments or eventually professional leagues, which we are looking at developing both here in Mexico as well as in India right now. Hopefully, everywhere can have one. But that is a significant differentiator because we have oversight over maintaining the rule set so that it's consistent across all of the various different levels. And then also allowing for full on creativity, whether that's collaboration from media perspective, collaboration from branding, um, integrating that into how the actual events go, incorporating various different, I'll say, attractions and talent, whether that's from the actual competition or bringing in, for example, musical talent and things of that nature. So it is very evolving right now because it isn't a standard league.
Mm.
And so we have the levels of club. So club level, you can bring teams from any country to be able to compete in that. And they don't have to conflict with each other versus international engagements. Then we would have one country team.
Huh. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love the intricacies of all of this. We could probably go on for hours, but let's do this. I want to tell
Sure.
your story. Like, let's
Okay.
start from the beginning. Where are you from and what did you want to be growing up and what did you go to school for or like jobs and whatnot? I want to hear
Sure.
like we get really cracked into it.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Potomac, Maryland. I'm definitely an East Coast guy. I've gotten to live all over the place now, thanks to different engagements and obviously Fireball. But East Coast is definitely home. When I was growing up, I always dreamed about playing in the NBA. Obviously, 10 years fast forward out of being a high school and all of that, uh, basketball has evolved and the athletes are built different these days, right? And so that definitely fizzled out pretty quickly. But what I will say is the love for sports never dwindled. And so played a variety of them growing up, still do. And so the love for understanding the various different components that go into the business of sports beyond actually being on the court or on the field was something that I can't thank my mentors, my parents, various other individuals more for instilling the fact that you can still be involved with your passion without being what initially attracted you to it, right? And so, when I'm playing the NBA, that obviously didn't work out. I ended up going to work for hometown or home state company of Under Armour, and that allowed me to stay connected with sports from the apparel lane. Had a lot of fun in the early summers of working in one of the flagship stores and then getting a quick spell at the headquarters in Baltimore. And ironically, uh, when I was looking for, I guess, my first real internship in college, there was a little bit of a hiring freeze going on at Under Armour for bringing on new hirees, right? And so I was communicating with my contact there that was overseeing the process, and they were like, they're delaying, like, you know, if you have other opportunities, significantly consider those, right? And so I appreciated the candor, but obviously that's not what I wanted to hear because I wanted to be there really bad. And at the time, I was in a class, sports marketing. I went to Seton Hall University in New Jersey. Um, should see my team dancing this weekend in March Madness, but
Yeah.
I won't get too much into that. That I felt like was a little bit of a snub. But we had an incredible partnership with Fox Sports for that semester, and we were tasked with having the uh, various different components of the Fox Sports Go app, which now is just Fox Sports app integrating the starting of streaming, having live sports go on there and having more, I'll say, individuality and customization for your viewing experience on the app. And so we competed against not only other teams at Seton Hall, but also with other schools within the region that were part of the competition, some, familiar names, UConn, Syracuse, et cetera. And my team won that competition, which we were very excited about, but ultimately it allowed for me to get a opportunity at Fox Sports. And so called the guy at Under Armour and I'm like, hey man, look, do you have some news for me? Cause we got this Fox situation going on. And he was like, take it. Don't even think about it because like I have no timeline for you. And so I had never really had a good I guess thought or desire in being behind the camera, being in the media side. Um, I like to joke because lately, um, we got to dabble in doing some commentary during the World Cup when I wasn't playing. And so that was fun, brought up an old passion where I went to broadcasting camp as a seventh grader. And it was like, oh, this would be fun. You get to be
Right?
sidelines, see, have one of the best views in the house and get into it from that perspective. But beyond that, that wasn't something that I had envisioned for my career. And that shifted everything. We did all type of projects from Super Bowl that year to FIFA World Cup to doing college basketball, college football, etc. And I was like, okay, I could get into doing the media side from advertising, sponsorship, um, pop-ups and integrations for on-site things of this nature, and that got the ball rolling. So that experience definitely allowed for us to be here, set the foundation from understanding how to keep sports integrated from what wasn't the initial idea.
Mm.
And ultimately, I transitioned to a couple other broadcast houses that were incredible experiences, but not quite to the level of doing Super Bowl,
Right?
right? And so I felt like there was something else that we could be doing. And so I called my best friend Barack and was like, "Man, what are we gonna do?" And he and I had done some dabbling in a digital media agency. He stepped out on his own and decided to really spearhead that. But we came together and decided that that's what we were going to do with ourselves for the next couple of years, leading into COVID, and uh, it got us reconnected with a lot of sports engagements that were on a, I don't want to say startup perspective, but connecting with former teammates, connected with various different coaches, people engaging with different brands that wanted to be involved with sports, creating sports platforms, etc. And that got the ball back rolling for getting that creativity. And so that also allowed me to have the flexibility to not only be sporadically introduced to Max and hearing about Fireball, but also having the flexibility to be able to go and take a week off and just go down to Mexico and compete in the first tournament, which ultimately allowed me to fall in love with the game. And kind of the rest is history in the making at this point. I don't want to say the rest is history because we're just still getting started.
Getting
But
started,
yeah,
right? My gosh, that's such a fun journey and a wild ride. Like to be able to go and see, like, oh, I love that you went to sixth grade broadcasting camp. Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
really a
yeah,
thing?
yeah. Seventh grade
Oh,
broadcasting
seventh grade.
camp, and it was a thing. Yeah, we went out there. It was old school too, and I know that's kind of funny, but we came home with VHS tapes of our work.
I love that so much. My
Yeah,
husband's a
yeah.
huge fan of, like, an incredible, like, announcer for, like, we watch football, he's fantasy football, right? But, like, the
Hmm.
idea of, like, the guys that have already been there, done that, played that are usually the announcers, and he's
Hmm.
like, "This guy, he's a great player, but he should never announce another game again." Like, it
We
is a
won't drop
really
names,
good
but there's
skill.
definitely a few of those.
I know.
Yeah.
He's like, "I just like the ability for them to see like, oh, this is kind of the play they're doing or whatever." So being able to have announcers in that, but the background, it's just like this psychological angle that I think you have over even just like playing the game. Like, you're
Hmm.
seeing so many different angles of it. Man, that's fun. Now, being able to get introduced to Max, you started out into all of this and it rolled into like multiple years of this. And now you've graduated all the way up to VP and helping acquire some really cool things and even looking for people to do more sponsorships and then continue to grow the league, which is so overwhelmingly awesome to think that we could spread the word for you and help bring more people in. But I know you're doing a lot. Like you're super busy, which is why it's so hard for us to get together.
Uh, that time zones, all the various different
Gosh,
things
I
they
know,
play
right?
they play a factor
To
for
like
sure.
look up time zone math, right? For us to hang out. But what like this is a lot and you're killing it. Why do you keep showing up? Why do you keep trying so hard?
Yeah, it's fun. That's the easiest and quickest answer. There's not really much more to it. It is fun. And people say if you do what you love, then you never work a day in your life. And I will say this is work. There's no question about that. There is a lot of different components that go into it, a lot of meetings, a lot of paperwork. So a lot of no's, especially when you're trying to get integrated into certain established location. I mean, sports is one of the most desirable industries to be in, right? If not, in my opinion, the most desirable industry to be in, and it's getting extremely competitive. Obviously, US is, kind of leading in that sector. Obviously, the NFL and NBA are, the pillars of what you want to strive for, but it's spreading out across the world, and now it's becoming less of a looking up at those as the I'd say, shining lights of bar set, but now it's starting to be able to become more integrated, more of a focus. You're seeing the Olympic stages getting a lot more competitive. You're seeing integration into the uh, how the actual show is run and the performance, etc. And so now understanding that we can still have fun doing this, it allows us to continue to do it and not really think twice as to whether or not it didn't go our way that day. So I would say that's definitely the reason that we continue to do it. And obviously, when I started out by saying, what did I want to be? Playing the NBA. Like, of course, everybody says that as a kid, right? But um, that was one of the things that initially attracted me to the game was this has allowed a resurgence and a reinvention of the athletic career. I'm excited and grateful to be able to continue to play until the wheels fall off, but at the same time, understanding that, the secondary perspective of the career is already set from an administration side. And so it takes a little bit of that pressure off from the play performance. Obviously, I want to win all the time, but
Yeah, yeah.
um, that has definitely been an influence as well because who doesn't want to play? And I think right now, and not to get too philosophical or anything, but I feel like people should be playing a little bit more, given the variety of different things that we got going on.
Right, right. Get your brain off of weird stuff and just have fun with some players on the court. Nice. Tell me about um there's some phenomenal things that you are integrating yourself into more media, and then you are doing outreach. You're looking for sponsorship. You're reaching out to people. So like you're working on all this stuff. And if someone's listening right now and they're thinking, "Wait, I need to talk to you about this. I want it in my country. I
Yeah,
want it. Can I be a player? What does that look like for me? Or how can I sponsor this?" So that way you're getting on the cutting edge of this new emerging, very large growing sport. What would it look like in your favorite way for someone to reach out to you, to follow you, and to contact you for anything in regard to it?
sure. Well, I think the easiest way is definitely going the LinkedIn route. Pretty simple. Darren Williams. Also include Fireball in there. I should pop up pretty quickly. But, obviously we have a lot of content on both our website for Fireball Extreme Challenge as well as the YouTube. So definitely check all of that stuff out. It's definitely a lot of fun. I will say we hear this all the time. The content is great. The video quality is top notch. Seeing it in person is a different experience. And so I highly, highly, highly suggest figuring out if you're very interested, understanding, what it would look like to put together kind of like a field day. We're having a couple conversations with various cities now in the US to be able to do field days. Obviously, our major competitions are definitely happening overseas, but we'd love to bring that home sometime soon as well. But follow me on LinkedIn and my DMs are open. Feel free to shoot me a note. I think my email is on there as well. It's a little bit long, so I won't say it out loud, but
It's on the show
I'll
notes.
definitely
Somebody
get
has to
that
write it
to
down.
you. Yeah,
Nice,
awesome,
nice. I love
awesome.
that you're
That would be best.
accessible and that you're available to meet with people and be able to do some more promo, some press. If you guys want to interview Darren, hands down, he's a phenomenal person to have on your show. And then go follow everything that's going on with it so you can join in the support and bring friends with you. I only have two more questions, really, but they're huge. What's next? Like, what's on the horizon?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I dropped that nugget at the beginning of the show. India is on fire. And so we are having daily conversations with different organizations and individuals there. That market is primed to have something new, something fresh, something exciting from the sports perspective. But their audience and their fandom is incredible. So we are looking at positioning a couple of tournaments there, partnering with some universities and having that infrastructure created. Ultimately, the goal is to start the Indian IPL, Professional League for Fireball Extreme Challenge, in India, and have neighboring countries compete in that as we build towards what is already being positioned for our 2027 World Cup, which will be uh, primarily, right now, we have requests from a couple of different universities to be the village hosts of that in India. We're shooting for an October, November timeline for that, but a lot of work to go into it leading into that. We're having conversations with different countries that haven't played yet as well. Brazil being probably our number one of interest. And we just had a conversation with Australia last week, so we're very excited about them as well. We're looking for this to be the biggest tournament that we've ever had. Obviously, this World Cup, we had 6 countries compete, and that was incredible. Just the results, the respect, the engagement that happened around that visibility, media impressions, etc., was great. We're going for 16 countries for this World Cup. Right now, we have 10 already identified and solidified. So getting on Australia being a new one, hopefully Brazil being a new one to get us up to that 12. So we have a couple of different targets that we're trying to get for rounding out those extra 4. But that 2027 World Cup is going to be special, and keep that on your radar for being able to tune in. But understanding how to fill out the calendar for other engagements, regardless of the country, whether that's from individual club tournaments or even starting a mini league that could have a shortened season. We're open to all of it. So, understanding how it can benefit other people's initiatives, their communities, their companies, because Fireball is a flexible game. All you need is the ball. The ball is about a size one soccer ball. We play, our official court is slightly different than an official basketball court. It's a little bit shorter and it's a little bit wider. But as far as usage of facilities, basketball courts work perfect. But I have been to some very unique locations to play. We've played in sand on the beach. We've played on sand just on a dirt patch.
Yeah.
We've played in classrooms where we slid the desks around and just utilize whatever space is available, open fields, parking lots, you name it, set the cones out and get it going, which we think is one of the most important and unique differentiators for our sport, since you don't need basketball hoops or soccer goals, goal posts for football, etc. You can set this up and play anywhere. One of the, I guess, most heartwarming experiences that we've had as a group for Fireball was a gentleman in Uganda came across an article on us and fell in love with what he saw. He took the personal initiative to not only pull the rules, which are publicly accessible for everybody to look up on our website, but pulled those rules, wrote them up on a chalkboard, and had the kids in the village playing that week. And they drew the court out on the ground in the field with sticks, and they played with what they had. They had soccer balls. It's obviously much bigger than what we're officially playing with, but to see the enthusiasm and engagement for that community to play was incredible. But it just spoke to the flexibility of the game, the accessibility of the game, and so being able to utilize it, whether it's a training exercise and bringing together professional folks, having, your friends get out and do a team building or engagement, whatever, just have some
Right.
fun. This goes anywhere, can be played anywhere. And so being able to allow for that accessibility, we're very excited about that as well. So, um,
Nice.
figuring out those perfect partnerships, or maybe even the ones that need to be molded a little bit more,
Right.
we're open to all of that. Yeah,
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So this is my last question. We're gonna wrap up the show. What is your golden nuggets or your wisdom bits or maybe a mantra story? This will be what we have as our favorite one-liners at the end.
sure, sure. Well, for me, it's easy. I would say take advantage of whatever comes your way now, and emphasis on now, because the hesitation or the procrastination or whatever else have you might have you miss a opportunity, have the opportunity evolve and not be what it could have been if you had taken advantage of it when it first came, or you just lose out and you're doing something completely different and you always wonder, what it could have been. And so for me, that definitely has shaped being here. And has this been perfect? Absolutely not. It's been a lot of work, it's been a lot of ups and downs, been all of that as to be expected. But at the same time, uh, I was blessed to be able to take advantage of it now. But at the same time, you also have to take the initiative to do it. And so stand on the nugget of do it now. And so that's what I want to leave everybody with, because don't wonder what it could have been, because I definitely would not be here in Veracruz getting ready to play this game, bringing it to competing, the excitement of it, but also getting the jet set a little bit, have some fun going to some places I never would have gone to be able to play. And so definitely take advantage of things now.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love all the stuff we got to cover today. I'm so appreciative of your time. Thank you so much for coming. And everybody who's listening, thank you so much for staying and hanging out. And I highly encourage you to go follow Darren on LinkedIn. It is easy to find him, luckily, if you type in Fireball.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
go and reach out to him if you need, or if you have like maybe a sponsorship idea that he could potentially hear out from you, and more. All of the above. So with that, I look forward to seeing everybody on next episode. And thank you again, Darren. I'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate it.
Bye.